let's move on to sport, shall we?
Oh, I've been waiting for this.
Here we go.
Speaking of early morning, the early morning in Australia, when we watched in Paris, France, wherever you were watching in the world, Fiji pulled off an upset to beat Australia 22-15. I mean, we've got to give them a clap. This is huge news. But
I'd usually be a bit more supportive, but you've just slided me from the scab.
After the
marks,
scab,
you know.
that's all right. I don't need support. I can carry this one on my own. I think
That's how he loves it.
because
He's a scab.
this is such like an amazing win for Fiji. But I'm actually choking up hearing you talking about this because when I look at the comments, and it's actually blowing up across the board in this game. So it's in Paris, France, right? It might as well have been like a Fiji game because all the Parisians, for some reason, they love Fiji. It's an adopted second team because a lot of the Fijian players actually play in France. So Australia were outnumbered there. So the scene was set. And to be honest, the way Fiji played against Wales, which they barely lost there, they should have won there. And the way Australia was playing, this is the weakest Australian side I've seen in a long time. Like, I know none of the names. They're all very young blokes, right? But when you see like the outpouring of like support in the YouTube comments and just how much views this is actually racking, and when you see the comments, they're actually not of Fijians. They're of people all around just celebrating like an underdog actually beating a
People
company.
who don't like Australia.
No, I actually don't think it's like liking Australia because, and I'll say that, there was so much support for them when they nearly lost against Wales and they were saying that the referee was corrupt. So this is not to do with the opposition.
Yeah.
This is an underdog story. This is what people gravitate towards. And that's the amazing thing about sport. But pairing it back to Fiji, because I'm actually Fijian, this takes me back to a 7-year-old, an old Kev, right? A young boy with his dad. An old Kev, a young Kev. I'm choking up genuinely because this reminded me of back at the time when we were watching TV. My dad and I told you this story.
Yeah.
We were yelling at the TV, "Go Fiji!" So they were showing a video of like them, the mic level. They were showing a video of them going to the markets, just talking, right? And there's this old dude, no teeth, no joke. I'm not joking, right? As humble, salt of the earth. All he said is, "I'm happy for them. Go Fiji, go Fiji, go." And that's all they can say to represent their happiness. But you can tell that they're so happy. They were interviewing this lady making cream buns. God bless you. That's the most important job in the world, making cream buns.
They're pretty good.
They're really Fijian cream buns are pretty good.
Yeah.
But this takes me back a young kid watching 7-a-side rugby, which we've always been good in, and thinking that the only thing that this country would be recognized at the international level was rugby. And Fiji has its own problems. Fiji has its own divisions. But regardless of the Indians there, the Fijians there, the Chinese there, yes, there's Chinese everywhere. They're everywhere. Okay. Regardless of that, they all came together to watch their team there. And what we saw was the culmination of that. And the irony of this victory is it's historic, right? This is 69 years since they've ever beaten Australia, not tier one, because they beat Wales and they barely lost against South Africa ages ago, right? But the irony of this is they did so playing a brand of rugby that was so un-Fiji-like. What do I mean by that? They moved away from the flamboyant rugby to beat Australia at the European game, which is set plays, scrums, discipline, which Fijian rugby is not equals discipline. It's flamboyance, it's running, it's athletes. They often say that a Fijian team is a bunch of really talented individuals, but not as a team.
Yeah.
And this team won so ugly. I can say this because I'm Fijian. That's one of the worst games I've ever watched that team play. And they still won it. They won it playing in like a very non-Fijian like game. And I think that was just as impressive because they were trying to lose that game at the back end. It was frustrating to watch, but I can only imagine if you're watching in Fiji, you're beating your damn tin drums, you're jigging off school if you're a kid, because that's what I can tell you. That's what they're doing. You're taking.
Would it be a national holiday?
Well, you can't have a national. Guys, you've just beaten Australia. Relax, man. Like we could actually go to the quarters or something decent. Okay, so let's just take a little chill pill. It's not like that there, but it's such a big thing there. But again, when you look at the outpouring of like support, it's not Fijians. It's not only Fijians. So the Samoa, obviously every Pacific Islander will just adopt them as their thing, right? Because Fiji equals Samoa.
They win, we win.
But that is true. That is representation. That is actually seat at the board. And sports is such an amazing narrative to be able to do so. But the great thing about the Fijians is every time they would lose, not that they lose all the time, but like every time that they'd lose, they would go to their opposition, hug.
Yeah.
They would pray for them.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't get angry at these guys,
Yeah.
even though it's like running into concrete walls, because what are they eating? Every Fijian player is under the gear. They're under drugs. And their drug is taro. They eat so much of that stuff that they should not be doing it. But they're built like linebackers. They're so big. I'm so happy for them. But guys, this is just the beginning. So like, take your, eat your Big Mac or whatever you're going to do and get back to training because we got more games to win. So happy for the guys. So happy for the guys.
And he was dedicated right this morning to watch that game.
The thing is, like, so in Fiji time, it started at 3:45 a.m., which is 4 o'clock. I mean, people be getting it there. It was in Paris. The Parisians love the Fijians. Sean?
I thought it was going to say something a bit more profound of like,
No.
like the
That
struggle, the struggle of, waking up. Like it was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
We planned it.
He gets said like, we'll watch the movie. We'll start it at 6 and then we'll finish it at 9. So then I can go have a nap and just sleep. And then I'm going to go watch the game and Dad's going to come. And then he woke up too late and then Dad left. And it was a whole situation. And me...
You just fell asleep.
I slept the whole way through, and I'm so happy.
And
I was
then-
so scared that I was not gonna I was gonna have broken sleep.
And then
It
all
was
of you,
amazing.
did you win? Yes.
He nearly got up and did not turn off the alarm, and I'm like, I literally woke up and I was like, alarm, and I went back to sleep.
Chauncey was happy for me. That's all that matters.
Well, yeah, good for Fiji.
Good for
you,
Fiji.
you love to see
Woo!
Love
You
to
love to
see
see
it.
it.
Love to see an underdog story.
especially that. So hopefully they keep trucking
Hopefully they keep
along.
winning. And as for Australia, that's.
We had our time in the sun though. Like,
Yes.
we've had our golden
But do you
years.
remember Australia? Remember the George Creegans, Matt Giddos, Stephen Do you remember John Eales?
Eales, yeah.
But you remember like,
was like-
Sterling Motlock, Phil Waugh. Like what I mean is like there's just no star power. Australia actually like that is the worst I've ever seen them play. The one try that Fiji scored, it was horrendous. It was a fluke. Like they kicked the ball up.
Which is not unusual, right?
No. They score off talent, but like this one,
No, the flamboyance. That's what.
yeah, no. But the Australians, they went up to defuse a bomb. He missed it completely, not by inches, by miles. And then they landed in the Fijian guy's lap, and he just ran. It was the easiest
Do you
try.
think it's based on like it's the limited amount that you've seen them?
Yeah.
Is it purely just experience? Like
So
what's going on?
Eddie Jones is back. You remember Eddie Jones?
wow, yeah.
So strategically, Australian rugby has been
For anyone
in
who
the
will
dol-
enjoy this chat.
Australian rugby has been in the doldrums for a long while, right? People love this chat, by the way. I've seen the views on the damn thing. All right. So Eddie Jones, he recently came back on the helm. Beginning of this year,
Yeah.
right? So there was a World Cup he knew this year.
Yeah.
And he deliberately chose a young team.
Just to start again.
Yeah. So he knew that they were not going to do anything good.
Interesting.
Because, right? What he probably didn't think was they're going to get beaten by Fiji in their second game. So there's degrees of failure that you can accept, right? You get beaten by New Zealand, hey, the hell, they're better than you. You get beaten by the Springboks, the European teams are better. Ireland is the number one team in the world, just letting you know. That's how different the landscape is now.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's a different landscape to when we were watching.
I was
to
like
when,
UK, Australia,
no,
New
no,
Zealand.
No. It's actually it's quite different to what France, Ireland, like all the
England.
European.
Sorry, yeah.
England's not even Fiji beat England coming on the way up. So I'm telling you, there's a reshuffling of the deck that we're going to see.
Yeah.
But the short of it is, Australian rugby has been poor for a while now. Eddie Jones took that gamble, knowing that 2027 the Rugby World Cup is actually in Australia, Brisbane. You better believe we're going to go and watch some games. You cannot, but like. Zanos, you're going to be there. But anyway, so Eddie Jones did it, noting that he had to blood young players for the next. So he's playing a very long game. But again, I don't think he anticipated losing his second game to Fiji because they're now, if they don't beat Wales, which they're not slated to win, they're completely out. So it'll be Fiji and Wales moving on to the next one, provided Fiji can beat Georgia, which should beat Georgia. And these minnow nations, they make up the numbers, right? We should be able to beat them. But anyway, yeah, Australian Rugby Union is pretty bad because you know why? All the good players in the league. That's why they wanted to get Payne Haas. To me, it's always been the case. Do you remember back in the day when they were trying to get Andrew Johns and Jonathan Thurston
to
over?
come over.
Because they said if they got one of these guys there,
then it'd
it would be game over. Because And
They had Izzy, right? Izzy Folau.
Folau, exactly. So they pay these wingers, and they got the Joseph Suwale won like $7 million for a winger. A winger is a finishing product. You can pluck some guy from Fiji to score the same amount of tries for $7 million. Less than a quarter, infinitely less than that. So Australian Rugby Union is a bit. Rugby union is actually like a rich man's sport. You know, they have those rugby schools, those preppy guys,
and that's
yeah. So it's
that's all I care about.
Anyway,
it's the lifting.
You know what? We've filmed our sport. What is it?
I'm gonna superimpose.
Well, like in the shot, I whoa.
All right, what do we got? We've had our sport quota for the day.
I needed my fun there.
Well, good luck to Fiji.
That's it.
Keep on trucking.